Welcome back to another episode of Carson's Aquatics. Today we are finally going to be finishing my front yard pond. It's been a long time coming. It's been like 2 weeks since I've worked on this thing last. I mean, honestly, I've just been pushing it off, but today we are finally, either today or tomorrow, realistically, we're gonna finish this pond. We're gonna get as much done as we can. Today we have plenty of rocks that I actually collected off camera. As you can see here, plenty of large flat rocks. Like I mentioned a couple videos ago, we need them to be like large and flat to where they can just cover up the liner like this, but not take up too much water space. So we got plenty of those. We got Miles back here helping out. But yeah, in case you're new here and have not seen this pond yet, here it is. You can see like up here is pretty much done. That's the mini pond and the waterfall. It goes down into the main pond, which we still have yet to rock. But again, we're using these. And then I think I'm actually gonna buy some gravel to go in the bottom of it. I really don't want to have to collect like all the gravel from the wild like I did last year. That took forever. So I'm just gonna blow like 60 or 70 bucks, not a big deal on that gravel. And it's gonna also look a lot nicer. So that'll be good. And I mean, yeah, what we're gonna do now is just use all these big flat rocks and just start lining the outside of the pond like you can see I started doing there. Alrighty guys, so we've got quite a few big rocks in place and we decided to actually start draining the pond so we can kind of see what we're doing a bit better. So we got some double pump action going on right now. We got that draining right there and then another one draining out to the street. But yeah, we're gonna let this drain pretty much until we can like have a clear picture of that bottom shelf. The water was pretty murky. We couldn't really see what we were doing. So we're almost there at the level we need to be. And when it's there, we're gonna continue putting the big rocks in. Alrighty guys, so big update. As you can see, we put pretty much all the big rocks that we have into the pond and it looks amazing. But we are pretty much out of those big rocks. I mean, we have a few that are just sitting around that don't quite fit into a place yet. So we are going to head out and pick up quite a few more rocks. We want to get more than we actually need. So we're gonna go pick up those big rocks now and we're gonna come back here, keep putting them in place. We are gonna wait till tomorrow to go pick up the gravel. Like I said, I'm just gonna buy that and we'll do that tomorrow, but now we are gonna go pick up those big rocks and then come back here and keep going. Alrighty guys, well it is a few days later, but I believe today is the day that this pond is finally getting finished. I've been pushing it off for way too long. I just want to see this thing done. So I cleared up my entire day today to just finish it completely. Here's a look at where we are right now. We don't have too much left to do. We really don't. I'd say about like half of the big rocks are in. And the other day, me and my dad went and got a lot more big flat rocks, as you can see there. And I laid all of them out in the yard and sprayed them all down. So they should be pretty clean, but we are gonna do one whole big spray down whenever all the rocks are in. Then we'll just drain out the dirty water. But anyway, the plan for today is to just put all these big flat rocks in the pond, just like we've already been doing. Then I'm going to sprinkle in this larger gravel around the big rocks, just to make it blend into the mulch, as you can see over there. And then I think after that, I'm going to run over to this material store down the street and actually buy some like nicer gravel to go in the bottom of the pond. Right now here at the house, I don't have enough gravel to like fill the entire pond, and I don't want to go out and pick it out by hand like I did last year. That took forever. So I'm just going to buy that gravel. But first, right now, we're just going to put in these big rocks. Alright guys, and as you can see behind me, all of the big rocks are finally in the pond. All the hard stuff is done. Like now we're just on to the fun stuff. We're just putting in the gravel, putting some gravel around the edges to make it look real nice and completely hide that black rubber liner. And kind of at the same time I'm doing all that, I'm also going to hide the skimmer and all the plumbing. Gonna make all that look real nice. Then we're gonna spray everything down, make sure it's all clean. Drain all the dirty water out, then fill it back up with brand new clean water. So like I said, all the hard stuff is done. We are finally over that hump and now we're just gonna glide to the finish and get this thing done. So right now I'm going to head up to that material store I was talking about and pick out some gravel. Alrighty guys, so I'm here at the material store over here by the gravel and just taking a look at all of it. You can see that one is obviously way too big. That one looks maybe a bit small and too like light colored. That one's definitely too light. That's just the complete wrong gravel. And this one right here is the one that I'm leaning towards. This looks like the perfect size, perfect color. There's my hand for comparison on the size. So I'm just gonna go get a worker and get this all loaded up. Alrighty guys, so I actually did not end up getting that gravel, but what I did get is the rest of the mulch to go around the pond. And that's because even though I call her Big Blue, my truck is actually a little gal and I don't think she would be able to handle a full scoop of that gravel. So when my dad gets home, we're gonna take his truck up to that place and get the gravel. But while I was out, I decided to just get the rest of the mulch. So while we're waiting for my dad to get home, we are going to get that gravel out of the mini pond and kind of spread that around the border of the rest of the pond. We're gonna take what we already have like around the border of the mini pond and also spread that out around the actual pond. Basically, this like granite and other stuff that I have from last year, I want this to be like mainly in the cracks and crevices like like right down here by the pond. And then when we get that other gravel, we can mix that in with that, put it in the bottom of the pond, and then have a layer of that also outside around the pond. So with this like rougher, rockier looking stuff, I mainly just want to have that like right along the border, if you guys know what I'm saying. You will here in a second anyway. So I want to get all that out of the mini pond because that's where we're going to put our new, nicer gravel. Then like I said, I'm just going to go around and spread all that gravel around the rest of the pond. Alright guys, so here's where we're at. I just got a bunch of this bigger gravel out from around the mini pond and put it into these 2 buckets. I also got all that gravel out of the bottom of the mini pond and put it in this bucket. And I also cut off the excess liner on that side of the pond. And off camera just a second ago, I used some nails to nail the liner down into the ground so it like doesn't come up over the rocks and mulch that are going to be covering it. So everything is going really well so far, and now I'm going to head up to that material store once again with my dad this time in his truck, and we're going to pick up a load of that gravel that I wanted. Alrighty guys, so we are back home with all of our gravel right there. And now we're gonna get loads of that gravel into this wheelbarrow, rinse it down while it's in here, and then we're gonna start putting it into the bottom of the pond and the mini pond. Alrighty guys, and as you can see there, we have gravel in the bottom of the pond. You can't really see it on the bottom though because it's so murky. And we've also got it in the mini pond. And now what I'm gonna do is start spraying everything down with the hose. And at the same time, I'm gonna be draining it with my pump so we can have like a constant flow of water so this water can start clearing up. Then we can see the bottom of this better, see if we need any gravel in any spots that I missed. Then whenever it's looking clear enough, we can fill it up for the final time. But right now, we're just gonna spray everything down and drain out all the bad stuff. Alright guys, well after working pretty much all day, the pond is finally done. It feels so good to finally be able to say that. Obviously we'll probably like do some tweaking with it, like if I need to throw a rock here or there, if I need to do some stuff to the plumbing, we'll fix all that later on. But for now, this pond is done, and oh my gosh, it looks really good. It is a bit dark out right now, the sun just set, so I'll come out here in the morning and give you guys a little bit of a better look at it. And I don't really even remember like what my last update was. I've been working for like hours straight, but I think where I left off was like we were draining the pond as we were spraying it down and putting new clean water in. And as that was going on, we were putting that old gravel all along the border, and then we laid the mulch down all around the pond. And then the last thing we really did was put this new gravel that we just bought in between the mulch and the old gravel. And then I got the skimmer all hooked up, and I found 2 like perfect flat rocks to cover those up. And yeah, we also have a rock wall all along the house. And I think what I want to do is like plant some ivy back there so it starts like growing up the house and down into the pond and like blends all those rocks together. That's definitely what I'm going to do. But yeah, again, I'll give you like one last look at it in the morning, but here's one last look at it for now. And now I'll see you in the morning. Alrighty guys, so it is the next day, and here is another look at the pond. And I hope that you guys are as happy with how this turned out as I am, because I am loving how this thing looks. We did something new this year, like I was talking about last night with that rock wall back there. It's virtually the same thing as what we did in the pond. You can see it's just like another layer of that. But hopefully here in like a year, that whole rock wall is gonna be like covered in ivy, which I will be planting here in a week or 2. We're also gonna get some aquatic plants. I think we're gonna do a lot of plants up here. I'm not yet sure if we're gonna do fish in the mini pond, but we'll definitely fill that up with aquatic plants and then some aquatic plants down here as well. We'll definitely get some lily pads. The opportunities are literally endless with this pond, and I'm glad I was able to get this done before I leave for Orlando. I literally leave for my Orlando trip tomorrow, so I'm glad I got it up and running before I leave. And when I get back from Florida, we're gonna start putting fish in here, so be ready for that. I know I haven't been uploading on YouTube as much recently, but now that the pond is done, we have a ton of videos on the way, so stay tuned. That is gonna do it for this video, and today's comment of the day goes out to, and if you want your comment to be the comment of the day in the next video, all you gotta do is drop a comment down below, and that could happen. And if you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and I am gonna see you in the next video. Oh, she almost fell.